are coming. I'm ordering all this stuff to go in my new rod. This is going to be the bed frame. I've already stuck the bed in there just to see how long it needed to be and all that. And then there is this. So the common problem with the Honda Element and a lot of cars is you get inside the back and you can't get out because they didn't put an interior latch release. I just drilled a hole through here, found a handle off a linen bag, and fed it through a grommet that I still need to tighten down, and did it like that. And then I also found some grommets to cover up the hole, and I wanted a unique ring, not just some ring. So this is a piece of marrowbone that has a little hole in it there to make jewelry out of. It's been a bear because it's hard to get it tightened up enough that it, isn't hanging loose. So the way this is done is you cable clamp it to the latch, or you put the cable through the latch and put a couple cable clamps on there to keep it tight. Run it over through your hole and put a pulley under there to make it run more smoothly. Okay, this should be interesting. Ta-da! It works. Bed frame set up. I've got it on the highest setting because I want to put my refrigerator underneath here. I really need to secure this somehow because I don't need it sliding all around. And it comes with this rack that goes on top. But if my bed will be supported enough with just those bars, I'm thinking this rack might come in really useful some other way. Yoo-hoo! This is a backup camera. And I have been installing it myself. so with this grinder. And you can kind of see here where I ground off down to that line. Thank goodness, that was the perfect measurement. Well, I do have a slight feeling of accomplishment now. I have managed to get this trim down so that it fits in the hole. I've plugged it all back up and it is in place and looks good enough for government work. Holy crap! Guess what? That's my iPod. It's working. For this, and I know this looks really rough. Started out making patterns. Oh, I'm making such a mess. And this is just the beginning. This is wheat paste. It's basically gravy without the grease. Flour and water. 1 cup of flour, 5 cups of water. And now I'm going to paste these together. I started out with 1 cup of flour and 5 cups of water, and I have made all these pieces. There's bunches there, little parts that are going to all fit together to make my shelf ornament thing. Well, I've been working on this for day 2, all day, gluing cardboard together. Sometimes I think I'm absolutely nuts for trying this. I went out to the table saw and skill saw and roto zip and tried to square these up. Today I am working on my counter. After trying to piece the upper counter together, next step is paper macheing over the whole thing to hopefully get it smoother. I like to get some of those ridges out. Of course, it kind of creates other ridges, but I've been told that once this is dry, I can sand it. So it's also for strength. I'm so glad to get these legs connected down here. So I have this made. Yeah, now, perfect. And here we are. It's been a pretty productive day today. I have made this much of this upper cabinet. I resorted to screws and Gorilla Glue because I was tired of things falling apart. And I've also zip tied everything in. So I've got it hooked up there, and I might do that differently later. I've made this filler out of just from the table saw, sawing all the stuff up on the table saw and mixing it with wallpaper paste. And so where this didn't fit tight after, I just gave up and I thought, well, I'll just fill it. So this is what I'm doing. Inside here is my 12-volt refrigerator, which is going to go underneath the bed. I had this stuff that came in a Moink box. Moink is Flex Seal rubber, liquid rubber sealant coating. I've already started spraying it on this insulation box for my cooler. It's got bumps in it like this because it's fitting underneath my bed, and those are the slats that run the length of the bed. So it'll be nice, tight little fit in under the bed, and the cooler refrigerator will fit underneath that. This kind of looks crappy. So what I'm going to do is mask it off and sand it down with my little Dremel sander here until it's smooth. And then I'm going to spray it with, Flex Seal rubber, liquid rubber sealant coating.